Why, hello, friend. Welcome to Convos for A Bubbly Life. I'm your host, Tiara, aka T, and I love to live a life that is bubbly, meaning an extraordinary life by your own design. On this podcast, we explore the journey of creating the life of our desires. So let's get to it. Today, I want to talk to you about revisiting old dreams or going after things even though you might not have succeeded or it did not turn out the way that you wanted it to go. I'm coming into this through the guise of my business, to be honest, and getting real and raw with you. So I'm at this place where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've done this before, and is it gonna work? And what is making this time different? And so let's back it up. Let's go. If you haven't been with me for a while, then my business journey, my entrepreneurship actually started, oh my goodness, probably 10, 11 years ago. I started as a Beachbody coach, and I remember signing up to be a coach, mostly because I wanted whatever package it was that came with being a coach for that month. And I remember joining and then not really feeling like I had any sort of support system as to what am I supposed to do with this now? I have this thing. I'm asking my friends to buy, subscribe to the shakes and the whatevers, and reaching out to all my fitness related friends. I started joining Facebook groups, hoping to find someone to buy something, and nothing really bit. And I know at that time, especially, I had not been really taught how to market at all. It was just ask a friend and a friend's going to sign up. And so I kind of tried to talk about it wherever I went, and it just felt weird to me, and it just didn't work out. So, eventually I quit, I let it go, and I kind of just focused. I had, I kind of went with photography for a little bit, and I almost forgot about that. There were times where I needed an extra boost of income, so I would offer to do headshots for, I would post on any of the theater boards that I was on and acting places that I was looking for casting opportunities. I would post anywhere from $50 to $100 headshot sessions. And so I had a couple of sessions and people seemed to like it. So I was all right. I did a couple of video editing things here and there. I moonlighted as a second shooter for weddings for a time. So I had a little bit of success in spaces that were creative. And what I found in there is, one, I didn't love it. It was just something that I could do to get a quick buck and make ends meet. But it wasn't something that I really wanted to make my career off of. And eventually, wine came into my life, and the wine business, I still have it. I still have the opportunity for people to shop for wine through me. I just don't do the in-home tastings anymore because it, again, didn't really light me up inside to do them. I if anything, it created anxiety for me, being worried about whether or not, who are these people that I'm showing up to in their house, and whether or not these people were going to actually buy the wine once the tasting was over. So I've come to a space where I'm totally down to be people's what is it, for lack of a better, consultant, and listen to people tell me about maybe what they're planning on eating for an event or whatever, and I could make wine suggestions based off of that. Or even if people buy the wine ahead of time, I'm more than happy to lead them in a tasting. But in terms of the traditional way to do that business, I am no longer partaking in, and that's okay. But that was the business that actually got something moving for me in terms of seeing the potential for success as a entrepreneur. I even went as far as to quit my full-time job and pursue my wine business full-time for a little over a year. But in that year, while showing up on social media, everything looked like sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. No lie, I was putting most things on my credit cards. I was feeling so desperate and anxious and just controlled about money, joining this coach and that coach, hoping to find the answer to how I was going to build this business and how I was going to break into social media influencership so that people would buy my thing and subscribe to my wine club and do all the things and make the money that I'm looking to make while investing the time that I wanted to invest. And I think that's a really big point because I had done to maintain the financial flow I needed. I was having to do multiple tastings in a week. So 3 to 5 tastings in a week. I was going to all the networking events and I was running myself ragged and I was more stressed out and more investing than had I just kept a full-time job and sat at a desk all day, right? I was stressed out. And so, again, I went through what else can I do to get a quick buck because my cash flow, my bank account is dwindling. So, I went to dog walking and I happened to I get certified in teaching body jam and I taught that class once a week at my local gym and, finding random things I could do to bring in some sort of cash flow because my business was not thriving the way I wanted it to make everything go as smoothly as I would have liked. So eventually I got to a place, especially after we moved to the West Coast, I got to a place where I was just fuck, I need money. And it was kind of embarrassing for a second. I got kind of embarrassed to acknowledge that, it's time to get a full-time job again. It's time to bring in the cash that I need to pay some bills. I even went as far as cashing in on a 401k to get some influx so I could pay off some stuff and handle the holidays and get everything to work out. And so when that came, I just had this moment and luckily it all landed perfectly where I found a full-time job and in wine. And I got to do an experience working in the wine industry, on an hour with an hourly rate wage and all sorts of goodness, which I had asked for. I was man, there were times where I was just man, I wish I could just get paid hourly to work in wine and drink wine and whatever. And this opportunity showed up. And while it wasn't the sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns I had hoped it to be, it did afford me a better and a more easy lifestyle. It took that pressure, that financial pressure off. And eventually, I made the move to be able to work full-time from home, which I'm so happy about. And I'm so thankful for this opportunity and the financial well-being that it gives me and the support that it gives me and the freedom that it gives me, both time and location and financially. But it's still not my heart space, right? So that goes back to entrepreneurship and doing it again and knowing that I still have this dream of full-time working for myself and building and creating something for myself from myself. So what's going to make this time different? Well, the from myself, I think, is huge because I know that in the past, when I was looking for answers on how to better market my business, better show up for my business, a lot of times I was looking at other people to support it. And what do I mean by that? So whether it be like my mentors being like telling me that I have what it takes to make this business work, I found myself, in leadership spaces, especially with my wine business, getting there, but not quite getting there, feeling like touching what it's like to go to the leadership retreats, touching what it's like to do all these things. And it felt really cool to mentor and be in these spaces. But the actual doing the work of an act, like the consulting, was not fun for me. And so it's fun and interesting to take a look and see, okay, well, what are the things, why wasn't it fun for me? One, it wasn't my business. Like, yes, no one's yelling at me about when I do my tastings or whatever. Like, yeah, there are people that are going to ask me and try to hold me accountable for what I said that I wanted to do. Like, I said I wanted to have this many tastings, like how many tastings are actually on my calendar. Like, yeah, that definitely happened, but it's not like no one's going to quote unquote fire me for if I don't do a tasting in a month or a year or anything like that. There was not really any repercussion outside of maybe like my own personal pride. There was nothing that would have led to a devastating consequence, so to speak. So I've come to this space now of like, okay, well, now I can create my own business. That is mine. I can give discounts to people if I want to give discounts. I can change the platform and the format if I find that the strategy I'm currently using isn't working for me. I can make it my own. I can create from myself. And that all starts with trusting myself. Right? The other thing was that when I was looking to other people to support me, I'm hoping other people will, it's like hope from others rather than trusting in myself. So I'm now leaning into trusting myself more, believing in myself, knowing the power, knowing the magic that is simply being in my presence and acknowledging it, and not coming from like a place of, narcissism or anything like that, but just listening really to the people around me. There are so many instances of people just being like, oh my God, I like stood next to you and I just feel better. Or you came to my house, like I felt like my house was haunted for a second, but like you came over and now when you left, it just felt so much better. And, or, okay, like it's just so many instances of these things that I can't deny that other people are feeling and experiencing something, and I feel like I haven't done a single thing. And I love that. And I'm like, all right, cool. This is now the time to recognize I have this magic, this power, this ability to hold and nurture. And it doesn't have to look like this rugged thousands of hours worth of content and programming and whatever to make an impact and make an inspiration. There is a sense of expansion just by being in an intentional space. And so that's where the A Bubbly Life membership is coming into being that intentional space, that container of magic and growth and community and connection. And I'm really excited to watch as it grows and expands and cultivates a space for people to experience the extraordinary, to become the extraordinary, because it all comes from within us and we each have our own individual journeys to go on. So I really can't promise that there's going to be 15 readings or whatever a month until I know what is it that you need as a member of the community. What is it? What are the nurturing facts? What is the nutrition that I can create? Like in the galactic reading I had, the lady was talking about, it's like, you're like making a cake and all people have to do is eat the cake and that's it. Like you're just this motherly energy. And I was like, bet I feel that. I'm with that. So that's where the space is going. And so I'm trusting in that energy, and I'm saying that energy out loud, as woo-woo and as crazy as it sounds. I know and I trust that the right people are going to show up, and it's going to be great. And I'm also not going to rush it. I think that's the other thing, is that I got so desperate to leave corporate America that I just left without really doing the financial know-how of like breaking down, okay, this is what I need to be making on a monthly basis to make it feasible. This is the cash flow that I need to like consistently bring in to make it okay for me to leave my job. I didn't do that. I was just like, I think I made that amount of money in 1 month, and I was like, done. All right, cool. I know I can do it. So I'm quitting my job because I'm done. I'm so done. And we're not doing that this time. Like, I have manifested a security blanket, if you will. I have manifested this safe space for me to both bring in money and enjoy my work while I'm learning to better grow and create and become more and more myself and share that with the world and create a community around that. That is the change. The energy is so much different in the sense that this is me, right? What does it feel like when it's coming from you and not someone else's plan, someone else's creation, someone else's vision for what it is that you want to create? I'm allowing this to kind of create itself and have this beautiful co-creation. And I'm so thankful to have found the mentorship that I have found, because it is phenomenal to be able to watch what they do and the work they do and recognize how I can do the same thing and it be my own. It's like giving me permission. And so it's inspiring, right? So I'm inspired to give myself the permission to move forward in a way that I haven't moved forward before. And you might see, like, it might seem like it's the same me, especially if you've been following me for a while on social media, just rebranded. But there's like something different at the core. The core has changed. The soul has opened. There is a glow up, if you will, in this moment. It's so funny. Someone had said to me today, they were like, oh my gosh, I don't know what it is, but looking at you and your videos, you were just glowing lately. And no, I'm not pregnant. I know that for a fact. But it's like, yeah, I am. And I even noticed in how I almost responded with being like, oh yeah, you know, it's just the lighting, or like, oh, that was a filter or whatever, and just trying to brush it off. But it's like, no, this is New Age Tiara. This is Queen T. This is Royal T. This is Mama T. This is the glow up. And I am accepting the glow up, and I am acknowledging the glow up, and I am acknowledging what can be brought to the system, and it just radiates off of us when we do that. When we recognize the great I am, if you will, who we are and what we bring to the table, and how much magic and power and wonder and magnificence, what extraordinary gifts we have for this life and this community. It is abundant all around us, and we just have to have that self-awareness for it and accept it, claim it, and put it out. Let it know. And, you know, I recognize that not everybody is going to align. And, you know, people talk about what's your niche and what's like the who's your avatar, I think is like, you know, a common phrase that would come up for talking about marketing. And I'm coming to this place of like, you know, maybe I feel like that's like so old paradigm in the sense that I am my avatar. You know, some people say, like, you're always marketing to the person, like, in terms from, like, coaching, you're, like, marketing to the person you were 2 years ago. Okay, that kind of resonates still, but it's like my avatar is more like I am allowing my soul, my voice, my inner being to show up. And I am no longer pushing down Tiara. It's funny, I have an app that's called I Am, and it says I'm, like, the one that just popped up as I'm saying this is I am working on Tiara for Tiara. I am expressing Tiara for Tiara. But on the end of it all, that's still going to attract the right people. And I am leaning into the trust. There's no get rich quick scheme. There's no whatever weird sort of marketing strategy from, like, let's randomly friend a whole bunch of people on social media in hopes that they like our content and will follow and maybe buy our thing. There's no randomly DMing people hoping that they'll buy, like, none of that. Yes, there is still strategy in the sense that I am showing up, I am marketing, I am talking about what it is that I have to offer. And I am allowing that to be enough. I am allowing that to attract. I am also allowing myself to connect on an energetic level. Not from a place of fear and hope and wishing that someone's going to pay for it, but a place of trust, a place of knowing my infinite wisdom is enough to make a difference. So with that, I invite you to join the A Bubbly Life community. You can go to www.abubbly.life/luxury living to sign up for the membership if you have not already. Remember that those who are early adopters that sign up before Labor Day, September 4th, 2023, you will get a monthly 30-minute one-on-one with me. So that is for the month of June, July, and August. You get a one-on-one with me leading up to the official opening of the membership. And with that, I will talk to you later. Thanks so much for listening. Remember, sharing is caring. I love you so much. Ta-ta for now.